Hi friends, welcome back to Premo Cooks. Today I'm going to show you one of my favorite go-to fried rice recipes, which is called kimchi fried rice. Again, not a traditional fried rice. Most of my recipes that are inspired by other cultures are not very authentic, but this one is super duper yummy and you can use it as a platform to get creative in your own kitchen. So what we're going to do first is chop up some veggies for this fried rice. And I've already ahead of time done some matchsticked carrots, some sliced radishes, diced red onion, grated ginger, and then these beautiful green onions from my garden that we're gonna garnish with. But I did save a couple of things to show you. I wanted to get you a little bit more familiar with chard. This is rainbow chard, and you can find rainbow chard, Swiss chard, red chard. There's lots of different colors, but I really like the rainbow chard just for the variety of colors in the stems, and this is just a hint. There could be red, there could be yellow, and if you have seen our first episode on Premo Cooks, we did a massaged kale, fig, and quinoa salad, and I showed you how to de-stem kale. This is similar. What you're gonna do is peel the leaf off of the stem at the bottom of the leaf, and then I'm gonna pinch the stem. I'm gonna pull the stem out. So I got most of it. Oh, I got all of it. Yay! One more time. Got the stem out. So now I'm gonna stack the leaves. But I'm gonna set these aside for the moment because I wanna take these stems and cut them up first. And with kale, like I said in our first video, I don't like the stems, they're too bitter, but chard stems are actually awesome. They taste like celery. They're very mild. So I'm just gonna give these a nice dice to put into our fried rice. And now for the leaves, I had stacked them all on top of each other. And then what I wanna do is roll them up together, make chopping quicker and easier and faster. I'm gonna do a lengthwise cut this way and then just a nice chop across. Beautiful. So I'm gonna put these in some bowls, add them to my pile of gorgeous vegetables. And I'm keeping the chard leaves separate from the stems because they're gonna cook separately from one another. The chard stems will take longer to cook. The chard leaves are very quick, so I'm gonna add these in at the end. Okay, now last little prep thing, I have these strips of nori that I cut off from a big sheet that you would make sushi with. And now I'm just gonna take a nice sharp pair of kitchen shears and cut them into thin strips. And these will also be for garnish at the end. Well, we have our vegetables done, chopped up, ready to go. I have my mise en place over here, all of my chopped up veggies, my measured out ingredients for all the things that we're gonna put into this hot cast iron skillet. So what we're gonna start with is some red onions. We're gonna let those saute. And I wanna add some toasted sesame oil. 2 tablespoons about. I'm gonna eyeball it. 1, 2, that was generous. And because my pan's already nice and hot, I'm gonna add my onions right in there. You want to cook your onions for a minute or two. Let them cook down a tiny bit, but because they're very finely diced, we don't need long. And I like my fried rice at the end to still have a little crunch in the vegetables, so I don't want to overcook them. I'm gonna sprinkle a teaspoon of salt in here. Then, after you have the onions in there for a minute or so, add in your carrots, chard stems. We're gonna save the greens until the end. Radishes. And you might be thinking, ooh, radish in a fried rice, that's weird. Cooked radishes are delicious. Roasted, cooked, I am a big fan of adding them into things that you typically wouldn't. It's definitely not something that you would find in probably most Asian stir fries. You'd find a daikon radish maybe. But I live in the Northwest, so I'm using seasonal ingredients for me. And I encourage you to do the same wherever you're living. Use whatever veggies you want for this dish. I have this on medium heat, just making sure it's not too hot. So now that I have my veg in there, it's gonna take a couple minutes for those to get a little soft, and then we'll add in our remaining ingredients. You can tell by the radish they're becoming a little translucent in parts. So I'm gonna add in the rest of the ingredients, well, most of them. So I have grated ginger. I didn't wanna add that in with the other veggies because grated ginger often burns like finely minced garlic would burn. I'm gonna add in 2 tablespoons of tamari, 1 tablespoon of mirin. If you didn't already know, tamari and mirin, my favorite ingredient. They're the best. They make everything extra delicious. And then I'm gonna add in my rice. I have brown jasmine rice that I made ahead of time. You want day-old rice for fried rice, because if you have a hot rice right off the stovetop, it's all gonna stick together and it's gonna stick to your pan. And if you need a tutorial on making rice, we have a how-to video on how to make brown rice. So now I have my rice mixed in. What I'm gonna do next is add in my kimchi, which I have 1 cup of kimchi. As you can tell, I'm gonna stick my fingers in here and show you. These are very finely chopped up pieces of cabbage in this kimchi, and that's the brand that I choose. And I'll talk to you more about that in my afterthoughts once the rice is done. But if you purchase kimchi that has really big pieces of cabbage, I recommend that you take a knife to it and chop it up and make it fine so that it spreads evenly throughout the fried rice and you don't end up with just one huge, crunchy, juicy bite of kimchi. If you chop it up nice and fine, it equally seasons the entire pan. So I have my 1 cup of kimchi. And you just want to evenly mix this in, and I'm going to move right on to the next step, which is adding in these chard leaves. And these are going to call for a bit of extra moisture to help them cook down, which is why I've saved some kimchi juice to add on there. With most kimchis, there's a brine that they're in, a juice, and so you can pull some of that off, or pull some of that juice out of the kimchi jar, rather. Hopefully what I just said made sense. So kimchi juice. Now we only have 1 ingredient left to add, and this is to your taste. So this is a gochujang sauce, my version of one anyway. It is not authentic. It is my interpretation, and it's a quick, easy recipe to make. Really great to have on hand. We also have a how-to video for that you can find. Now I'm just gonna add in, I'm gonna start with a tablespoon of the gochujang sauce, stir it in, give it a taste, see what I think, and then I might end up adding more. And my version of gochujang is not terribly spicy. My gut has a hard time handling the spicier foods, even though my mouth says, yes, please, more please. And I just actually, because I'm talking to you, I added 2 tablespoons of gochujang sauce without even thinking about it. Just note that. If you want something spicier, add chili oil into this recipe, add a bunch of hot sauce at the end, add garlic if you want. I have an intolerance to garlic, but it's amazing in here. All right, now I'm gonna give it a taste and see if I wanna add any more sauce. That was super good. So I'm gonna add 1 more tablespoon of the gochujang. Oh, this is so yummy. Once you have it as you like with the flavor profiles balanced how you like it, turn the heat off, set it aside, and then if you wish, cook up an egg however you like it and put it on top. That's what I'm gonna do next. Last step, friends, and then we're gonna eat some delicious kimchi fried rice. So I have a pan on low heat, it's warm. I added a little bit of oil to it. You could use butter if you want, that's my personal preference with eggs, or even a little toasted sesame oil since we've already used that in the fried rice. And then have an egg ready to go. It helps when it's cracked into a ramekin first so that you don't break the yolk. For a sunny side up egg, I'm gonna sprinkle with a little salt, pop a lid on, set a timer for 2 minutes. These are especially beautiful eggs that I have right now. They have really dark orange yolks, which means that they were grass-fed, and there's lots of omega-3s in there. Good for your body. With a sunny side up egg, you want the white part to be cooked all the way through. And give it 10 more seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bam. Perfect. Look how gorgeous that is. All right, now we're gonna plate. So, got me my kimchi fried rice, so beautiful. And then I'm gonna slide my egg on here. And now I have black sesame seeds, green onions, and the nori we chopped up to garnish with. Ba-bam! Northwest kimchi fried rice. Yum! I just stuffed my face and inhaled a whole bowl of that kimchi fried rice. It's so good. And I wanted to tell you all, I really want to encourage you at home, if you try this recipe, use whatever vegetables you want. Add some protein to it. Get creative. The most important part to kimchi fried rice is the rice and the kimchi, so the rest is just a platform for you to play with. And if kimchi is new to you, it is something that you can find at most Asian markets or your natural health food store. There's lots of different brands. And they're all very different. Some have huge pieces of cabbage, some have small, some have a lot of garlic, some are really spicy. So it might take trying a few to figure out which one's right for you. I used in this video Firefly brand kimchi. It's made in Seattle, and I don't know that you can find it everywhere, but when I lived up there, I became hooked on that one because it's much more on the pungent, sour, crunchy side. It's not too spicy, it's not too garlicky. So that's my go-to. And kimchi is great for you because it's a fermented cabbage. It's a Korean staple and it's fermented for a long period of time. So that means, just like with miso, it's a live culture and you get lots of good bacteria for your gut health. Yay, gut health. So kimchi is a great thing to add into your diet regardless. And then one last tidbit for this recipe, the pan that you use can make a difference with making any kind of fried rice, because rice definitely wants to stick to the bottom of your pan depending on what you're using. So I used a cast iron today. It's a very well seasoned cast iron, and you can check to see if your cast iron is seasoned well enough to make this recipe by testing it first. Make a fried egg. If you can fry an egg in your cast iron without it making a mess or sticking to the bottom, then it's going to be great for making fried rice. You could also use a carbon steel skillet, or I've used stainless steel in the past, but it doesn't retain as much moisture, so you have to keep adding more liquid and oil to it to keep it going. Oh, and the other reason I loved the cast iron pan that I used today was it's really high sided. And when you're adding all these things in, especially the greens and the rice, you're going to make a huge mess if you don't have a high sides on the sides of your pan. That was not very eloquent, but I hope you know what I meant, and good luck trying this at home. Sort of fumbling over my words at the end. Shank. Charred stems, yay, gut health. Good for your body. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy Premo Cooks and think I'm a total dork, then hit those buttons down below, the like and the subscribe, and share us with your friends. Thanks. Do you want to be famous?